Hello guys, welcome back to Watch Addiction Watch Reviews. Today we have a bit of a larger watch on the channel from Nove Watches. It's a pretty interesting watch. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. It has some neat features as well. I've reviewed a couple pieces from Nove in the past, and the quality has always been very exceptional. I took this as a loaner to take it in for a review. Let's see what we think about it. Anyway, this is the Nove Atlantean. It's $690 US. Currently, there is a code on the website I just checked out with for Father's Day. You can save about 25% or 20%, bringing this down to $518. You do get free shipping as well with the watch, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it's a larger watch, guys, but it's a pretty cool watch. I think they're on their way to doing some pretty neat things. All of their designs are definitely not homage styled or anything like that. Very interesting designs. Obviously, it takes a while to design something like this, and their quality always comes out to be pretty good. So, let's take a look at the watch. Obviously, it's larger. It's 50.5 millimeters in terms of diameter, guys. So if you have one of those smaller wrists, obviously it's not going to be the best fit for you. If you have like a 7-inch wrist or so, I think you should be okay because the lugs are kind of non-existent. It's an incorporated bracelet. Obviously, it kind of all meshes together, and it really sits flat on the wrist. Anyway, the watch is 50.5 millimeters. It is 14 millimeters in terms of thickness. You get a solid 316L stainless steel case with some brushing and polishing. And as you can see here, the sides of the case are really interesting. Take a look at this. It's kind of like a shell here that this part goes into. So it's not a one-piece case. And it's very interesting. The brushing, as you can see, is pretty good, actually. There's a little, actually, lever here, which is pretty interesting. I'll show you what that does a little later. But yeah, the brushing is not that bad. On the bracelet, we have polishing mixed with brushed surfaces, as well as Nove, which is polished on the inner portion of this shell. And we kind of get a fluted bezel here, as you can see, which is all polished around, which is pretty cool. But this is not your typical rotating bezel. As you can see, I cannot rotate the bezel. I'll get into that in a little bit. Anyway, it has an abalone shell dial, which is quite interesting. Let me get you in a little closer. You can see all those really neat colors. Obviously, very ocean-inspired from a shell. Just looks really cool. I think it's something very different. I haven't seen a watch with this type of dial before, at least on the channel I haven't. Yeah, pretty cool. Large loomed hands as well. The inner portion actually does rotate. All of these markers are loomed as well on top of that black portion of the dial here. You get a sapphire crystal as well, which is very nice. Screw-down signed crown with the N logo, as you can see here, which is polished. For that 300 meters of water resistance. Now, let's talk about the movement. So it's a Swiss-made watch, right? Swiss-made, they do claim. It does have a Swiss Ronda R150. A lot of brands are really taking advantage of this movement. It's an automatic movement, has a 40-hour power reserve. It is a Swiss-made movement. Has about 25 joules. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the crown here. Let's get this thing going, guys. So very nice pop out. Nice click there. Give it a wind. Pretty smooth winding. And there she goes. A few winds and she's ready. Go ahead and pull out one position. We do have a cyclops over the date here, as you can see. One more position and we can change the time here. So I'm going to set it to 9:10. Push that back down. As you can see, we do get hacking, of course, on the Swiss R150 Ronda movement. And yeah, it does beat at 28,800 beats per hour. Hacking, hand winding, quick set date. But yeah, very nice. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely something very different. I want to show you guys something. So I want to rotate this bezel, right? But how do I do it? There's actually a lever incorporated into the case. Look at this. So I pull this up here. You can see now I can rotate the inner bezel just like this. I think that's pretty cool. And then whenever you're set, you set it, you lock that back down, and this is not moving anywhere. So if you're going on a dive or something like that, it's definitely very usable, as obviously this is not going to be able to move at all, which is very nice. And let's take a look at the actual bracelet. So we definitely have a custom bracelet here signed with Nove. We get the N logo here, which is very nice. And then it's friction based here. You open up to a nice milled clasp. Actually signed the inner clasp as well with Nove, as you can see there, which is pretty cool. And there is a custom diver's extension. It's not the huge one that we see in a lot of other watches. It's actually custom made. This is definitely different. And there's 2 buttons here, and you get micro adjustments. So that was pretty cool. It's not like that huge thick one. It's kind of smaller, more compact, and obviously has a different shape, the actual clasp, which is very nice. Bracelet is a screw link bracelet, as you can see here. Pretty interesting design. Highly polished on the outer portions, and then these blocks here are brushed as well. And of course, it's a pretty thin bracelet, as you can see there, so it definitely wraps the wrist very nicely. Actually, you can get a look at the back of the watch here. We have an exhibition case back. That is the Swiss Ronda R150. Actually, not a bad looking movement. Kind of looks like an SW200 a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely a reliable Swiss movement. They're being seen a lot more now in a lot of different brands. I've tested out a lot of them, and they run really nice. So I have no issue with the R150 made by Ronda, which makes the Swiss Ronda quartz movements, which you guys are very familiar with. But yeah, you get a nice custom signed Nove rotor there. Screw down case back, very neat writing, sapphire crystal. You can see that's the name of the watch, automatic, and then Swiss made with the little Swiss flag. Yeah, just pretty cool. Very simple, very neat, very well done. Now the bracelet itself, as you can see here, it's kind of integrated. So you're not going to be able to just kind of pop it off and throw on any band you want if that's something that you're into. Yeah, it's something you kind of have to take with the watch. Anyway, I want to get you guys a lume shot. I think this thing is really a lume monster. I was really surprised by the lume. They're using Swiss Super Luminova. It's called GL3, and it's really, really bright. I was really surprised. We're talking like some of the better micro brands, like the top 3 micro brands you would know. This lume is just as good. So let's take a look, guys. And there you go. I mean, this is pretty good lume, guys. Look at that triangle at 12. Look at the hands, the inner rotating bezel, everything from the hands, the rectangle on the sweeping seconds hand. Really, really nice lume, and it lasts quite a long time. It's very potent. I was quite surprised by this, as this is probably the best lume I've seen from any Nove watch I've ever experienced. So they definitely did a really good job on the lume. I must say, for being a larger watch, this thing is really comfortable and compact. I mean, look at that lug to lug. I have a 6.5 inch wrist. The watch kind of hugs and conforms to the wrist due to that case shape. As you can see there, everything is really, really nice. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light, and the bracelet conforms perfectly. Clasp sits directly in the middle of my wrist. Just a few links I had to remove there. And all in all, it's a very interesting looking watch. Obviously, this is a watch, someone's gonna be like, hey, what's that on your wrist? Like, what is that? It's very interesting. Obviously, from that dial, the case shape, the interesting bracelet, and obviously, this is something you're not going to see in the wild, right? I mean, there's really no other watch in the world that looks like this or has characteristics like this with this case shape and cut. It's really quite interesting. And I don't know how they're designing their watches, but they must have a really good designer. Because honestly, there are no other smaller brands out there that are constantly producing new designs like this brand. I mean, they're not taking cues from really any other brands, minus this fluted bezel. They're doing their own thing, 100%. As you can see, that nice dial. We do get the N logo, which is applied as well. Marked Swiss made down here. 300 meters, automatic. All around, just a very well executed watch. Obviously, if you don't have the wrist size for it, maybe it's not something for you. But I would say if you have the wrist size for it, about 7-inch wrist and up, it's definitely a very interesting, compelling watch. Swiss made, Swiss automatic movement, custom bracelet, custom self-adjustable clasp. You're getting a very good Swiss automatic R150 Ronda movement. Very good case cut and finish. I think it's interesting. And of course, you do get this cool little way to rotate the bezel, which is always, something different, obviously, right? I think it's pretty cool. And it goes both ways. It's unidirectional, guys. So really cool watch. This is from Nove Watches. I will drop a link down to their website in the description below, so you can check them out after this video. There's a code on their website. I don't make any commission if you use that code, so don't worry about that. But yeah, just a very interesting watch. Maybe in the future they can make like 40mm versions of this. I think that would be crazy. Maybe 40, 42, 43 for you guys with smaller wrists. Like I said, it looks a lot bigger than it actually wears as well, considering that kind of lugless design here. This kind of comes over the lugs here with 2 screws. Then you have the bracelet. Really, really interesting watch, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below as usual. This is the Nove Atlantean coming at you from Watch Addiction Watch Reviews. I will see you guys on the next video. Definitely smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of interesting content coming up real soon, guys. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Leave your comment, feedback, everything down in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Bye.